Welcome to the Loaded Cannon. And listen, there's a button right underneath where you're watching me, and that button has got a thumbs up. Now, don't touch it yet. Only touch it if your team is top of the league, if your team has got goal difference that no other team in the league has bettered, if your team has conceded the least amount of goals in the league. No team has conceded less goals than us in the league. Listen, Arsenal are the elite. Beat Brighton today, and not just beat them, I'm talking dominated them. Listen, Brighton, a brilliant, brilliant team. They really are a very good team. And we made it look easy today. Honestly, I know we got a very, very late second goal, and there were moments, and it should have been easier than it was. But we dominated them today. And I don't want anyone to sort of get confused about that. Yes, we can talk about parts of our game that should have been better. Absolutely, we should be more clinical. But not for a second did I feel scared or threatened in that game. You might not always win, right? But the way Arsenal play, how we control games, how we dominate teams, we're very rarely going to lose. A really, really good performance today. And you know what? First thing I want to speak about is Gabriel Jesus, because, he's one of those players that sort of divides opinion a little bit. No one doubts or denies how good he is on the ball, how much work he does for the team. But a lot of people ask for him to be more of a striker, more clinical, more often in the right places. And I totally agree with that. But this game, it sort of showcased some of his really, really good points and some of his bad points as well. From the corner, let's start with his goal. From the corner, he was in that perfect position that I want to see my striker in. If you stand in that position and not just stand there, but, sort of peel off into that space, and that's the crucial part, you will guarantee yourself 3, 4, 5 goals a season. There'll always be that ball that goes to the back post for someone to tap in at corners. Now, Arsenal scored 8 goals from corners, more than any other team, and that isn't unintentional. I'm 100% convinced that that is coaching. That's not just Jesus ending up there. That's him intentionally sort of looking like he's in with the crowd and then just not moving. You see there, Kai Havertz and Jesus were very close to each other when the ball was coming in, but Kai Havertz goes forward, Jesus holds his run. That's very intentional. Sometimes the best way to get space is by not moving at all. The space will come for you. The space will get created around you. And that's because other players can move. And that's exactly what Arsenal did. We all went forward. So many times in that game, our corners hit the near post. And that means Brighton are just going to get used to seeing that tactic. And ultimately, that's how we scored the goal. We left someone at the back post on the chance that that ball does go there. And yeah, the flick on was from a Brighton defender. You might say, oh, it's lucky. But no, it's not lucky, because it's about having the right players in the right places. So frequently in the league, I see teams just poorly set up from attacking and defensive corners. Arsenal are not one of those teams. Nicolas Jova is doing the job perfectly, because the proof is in the pudding. 8 goals from corners this season, more than any other team. Now, Jesus, on the other hand, at times today, it's funny, I thought Saka and Martinelli didn't start well, but he really grew into the game. And overall, the story of the game is that at times, Saka and Martinelli were unplayable. They were brilliant at times, beating their defenders for fun. But what makes a wide forward or a winger look really, really good is when there's a striker in the middle for them to hit. And very often, Saka and Martinelli would do great work. They'd skin their man, but there's not someone in the middle for them to hit. And that's where I think Gabriel Jesus sometimes lets us down a little bit. But on the other hand, there was a counter-attack that Brentford had in the second half. Jesus runs back, nips that counter-attack in the bud. He does so much, creates so much space, does so much hard work, that I find it hard to criticise him too much. I just wonder when I watch Arsenal, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because I'd love to know what you all think about this. Would Arsenal be a better team with a proper out-and-out striker? Like, Ivan Toney's often spoken about, with someone like Ivan Toney, where you've got that almost guarantee that once you get him behind and you cross that ball, he's going to be there. So Saka, Martinelli, they'll just have like a muscle memory that kick this ball into that 6-yard box space, and yeah, it's going to be a goal. Will we be a better team with what Toney brings just in the penalty box, and we miss out on everything that he doesn't do that Gabriel Jesus does over the rest of the pitch? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Will it make us better or worse? I'd love to have it as a plan B. Not that I'm a big fan of Ivan Toney because he's an absolute clown off the pitch, but I'd love to have that sort of plan B option in the team for when this isn't working, or even if we want to do Jesus and someone like Tony up front together to really mix things up. Anyway, another player that I thought was really, really good today, do I even need to say it? Declan Rice. Always drops an 8 out of 10. He's brilliant. And I'm just repeating myself, so I'm not going to bother. Declan Rice is just, people have been saying it. We owe West Ham more money because it feels like robbery. It feels like 100 million robbery. It's just unbelievable player. Martin Ødegaard is another one today that really, really impressed me. The only thing with Martin Ødegaard, and I've gone and said it, he is world class. I believe he is world class. Some of the passes he played today, brilliant. His tracking back, his work rate, so much of what he did today was absolutely brilliant. The way he retains possession, protects the ball, love watching him play. But you all know it. You can complete the sentence with me. He's not clinical enough. Against Villa, he had 2 chances. Should have done better with those chances. And again today, he had chances. He's got to do better, especially one where Brighton's keeper made a mistake playing the ball out. It came to Ødegaard in the box. Why have you taken so long? He's taken an age. You've got to be more decisive, got to be more clinical, and he just wasn't. It's really, really frustrating. But overall, he's such a good player. And if he just starts scoring more goals, if he becomes a bit more clinical, for me, he will be world class. He'll be considered world class unanimously. And that's the one thing that he needs to improve in his game. Now, listen, Arsenal today, very lucky not to concede as well, because Pascal Gross, my God, what a chance that was. I knew Mitoma against Ben White, he'll have a moment. He will lay something on because, listen, Ben White, he's good one-on-one, don't get me wrong, but Mitoma's a very, very tricky player, and he put it on a plate for Pascal Gross. I can understand why he went with, I think, the foot closest to the ball, his left foot, rather than sort of waiting for it to come across his body, because then you really, really have the keeper in front of you. So I understand why he did it, but, when that chance came, my head was in my hands. I thought that we had conceded, so I was really relieved. I think we got away with one there. But you know what? Overall, Arsenal did brilliantly. I think we deserved our clean sheet. We haven't kept enough clean sheets at home. Finally, I'm glad that we got one. Kai Havertz, 4 goals in 7 games. Unbelievable return from him. I have to admit, I'll be honest with you, and let me know what you were thinking when he got put through by Nketiah. I didn't think he was going to score. Be honest in the comments. Did you expect him to score? Because it was an easy chance where he should be scoring, but I just didn't have that confidence. But you know what? That's exactly what Kai Havertz's job is right now. People that still have got doubt, and I'll be honest, I've still got my doubts. I still don't think he's going to be a long-term success at Arsenal, just like I don't think he was a long-term success at Chelsea. But game by game recently, he is proving people like me wrong, because he's getting the chances, he timed his run, he peeled off into space. In other games, I've spoken about his sort of decisive movement, and he finished it. So he's proving people like me wrong, and I really, really hope he continues to do it. But let me know in the comments below, did you think he was going to score when he got put through? And how do you see him now? Do you think he's going to be a long-term success at Arsenal? I don't, but I really, really hope I'm wrong. Now, last thing I'm going to say, Man City now 5 points behind us. Aston Villa are a problem. Liverpool have got to play Man United, obviously. And the interesting thing is, with Man City missing the next game week in the Premier League because of their Club World Cup participation, they could come back into the league at their next league game anywhere between 6 and 9 points off the lead. And the way they're playing now, that gap seems to look quite big. Arsenal have got a huge game against Liverpool at Anfield next. And for me, obviously, depending on what Liverpool do against Man United today and Man U, they're a circus. Liverpool should win. If they do win, the winner of Arsenal and Liverpool, if there is a winner, for me, they become the favourites to win the Premier League. But I'm saying that we all know the age-old wisdom that the Premier League table means nothing until after Christmas. Arsenal have got Liverpool away, West Ham at home, and then Fulham away. Depending on what we do in those 3 games, we might be sitting there after the first FA Cup 3rd round games are played. We might be sitting there after that looking at the league table, which becomes very meaningful, because by that point you've played more games then there are games to play. Like more than half of the season is done. You've also navigated the Christmas tricky period as well. The table means something in the new year. If we're top of the league, if we manage to go in, get a result at Anfield, I'm excited, man. I'm really excited because even though Liverpool and Villa are the ones that are in and amongst us right now, and Man City have had some bad form, they have got this entire country shook. Let's be honest about that, because they are the ones. They are the dominant team in the Premier League in recent years. So it's hard to ever discount them, and you can't discount them. They can always come back. But given how shaky they've looked, I'm actually thinking, never mind Liverpool or Villa, Arsenal might have a chance of winning it this season. So we have to go and do well in those 3 games. And hopefully, in a month's time, when we're looking at the league table in sort of mid-January, Arsenal are leading the pack. And hopefully we've learned a lot from last season. Anyway, I'm off. I'll see you tomorrow for the 5 at 5. Up the Arsenal. Hit that like button if your team is top of the league.